Dream 13. This is actually an old one, but it came back to my memory and I thought it's one that I should share. So, in this dream, I was doing some kind of service project with our church, and I remember driving up to this parking lot. It wasn't a parking lot, it was a parking garage. And I was there with my brother and two of my neighbors. And they had a bunch of gravel and rocks and things of that nature that were inside of the parking garage, and we had to put it into a wheelbarrow and move it to another place. So my brother and I and the neighbors started doing that, and we moved all the gravel, put the rocks away, and when we finished the project, we got into the car to go back home. And as we started driving off, I saw Redmond, my best friend who had passed away, standing there where the gravel once was. So I told my neighbors to stop the car, and I had to go see him. And I went to him, and so excited, so happy to see him. Been so many years since I'd seen him. And so I gave him a hug, and he had nothing to say. He wasn't talking at all. He just pointed over to another side of the parking garage. And I looked at this other side of the parking garage, and there was a fridge freezer, one of those double fridge freezers, a big one. And he was pointing to it, and I said, "You want me to open it?" And he just nodded. So by this point, my neighbors and my brother got out of the car, and we went over to this fridge freezer. We opened it up, and there was nothing inside of it. And so we closed it back up, but then we noticed there was this button on the outside of it. We pushed that button, and there's like a secret contraption that opened up the whole wall. And behind the wall, there were weapons. And so we each grabbed a weapon. I had this bow staff that had razors, like knives, on each end. My brother had this samurai sword. One of my neighbor had he's kind of like a big chubby guy with a big long beard, so I thought it was kind of funny that he got double axes. It just looked like a Viking. And his wife, the other neighbor, she got pretty much that thing that Scorpion has in Mortal Kombat with the chains and the little metal grabber at the end. She got a couple of those. And as we grabbed the weapons, the parking garage turned into a battlefield, and we just saw smoke and dark clouds hover over us. And in the sky, we saw this huge face that looked like an ancient Egyptian with all of the jewelry, but it was a dead one. So he also had like a skull, and I don't remember his name, but he told us which pharaoh he was, and that he was coming back from the dead to take over the earth. And then he sent after us an army of mummies. And these weren't like these slow mummies from the movies. These were really quick, fast mummies coming at us. And then we proceeded with our weapons to just attack and destroy and kill all these mummies. It was actually really fun. It was super fun. We were just killing. They were already dead anyway. And when he saw that his whole army of mummies was no match for my brother, my neighbors, and me, he vowed to return. And then the smoke kind of gathered all the rest of the remaining mummies and his big face over the sky, and then it disappeared, and we were back into the parking garage. My friend Redmond was gone, and we got in the car and drove home.